Hi, it's Jeffrey Shaw speaking here from Radio FM 88 Australia, broadcasting from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Right above me is my co-host, none other than Andrena. She's broadcasting from the UK, and directly below me here in Queensland is Vanessa Eagleton. And mind you, Andrena has actually organised this conversation to take place. Very timely, I feel, and it's currently, as I just mentioned to those people who have probably just come on board, it's just gone past 2 minutes past 7 here in Queensland, 2 minutes past 9 in New Zealand, and 2 minutes past 10 in the morning in the UK. Anyway, I'm passing back to my co-host Andrena, and thanks for inviting Vanessa to the show.
Hi everyone, good morning Vanessa, good morning Jeff, and to everybody who's listening to the show today. I think you're going to find today's show very interesting. So I'd like to welcome Vanessa. Would you like to share a little bit about yourself, Vanessa, what you do?
Hi, Andrena. Thank you for having me on your wonderful show, to give me the opportunity to talk about what I do. It's very unique and transformational. So I studied to be a pathogen whisperer in 2018. So we actually learn how to energetically identify pathogens, which are bacteria, fungus, virus, heavy metals, and toxins and poisons in your system that are making you feel unwell or sick. And we've found that pathogens are at the root cause of a lot of our problems, illnesses, and chronic long-term illness, autoimmune type diseases.
Right, can we go back, and it would be lovely to hear how your journey of life started, how you got into the healing and all what you do, you know, sort of taking us through stages that led you to doing the pathogen work.
How far back do I go? I started this work 17 years ago. I was opened up spiritually when I had a Reiki attunement. So I learnt Reiki, and they do all the symbols, and basically my crown chakra was cleared of all the cobwebs. So that's how I say it. Because after that, I was pretty much seeing, hearing, and feeling spirit. So I was having experiences with angels and seeing into people's bodies, being able to feel into their emotional state within their body. And also star beings were connecting with me as well, which is another fascinating story.
Can I ask you there, when you started to see into people's bodies, and I've often wondered that because I know quite a few people that can do that, were you just walking along the road and you could just see, or is it when you actually tuned in? You know, how did that happen?
It actually happened by accident. One of the ladies from my group was sick, and after the class had finished, I wanted to send her some energy healing. So I put my hands up and envisioned her in front of me, and I realized that she was sucking all the energy out of my hands. And I thought, whoa, that's kind of full on. And then as I kept projecting just love, really, and light to her, I started to feel things inside of her body, like she was deficient in minerals. She felt unwell. She was fatigued. She had emotions there that I could sense. So I could feel all that. And I thought, this is amazing. I think I'll just tell her what I was saying. That's all very accurate, how what I perceived for her. And so as it went along, I could sort of tune into people's bodies without them being in the room with me. And sometimes I wouldn't even have a photograph of them. I would just use their name and then intuitively just feel their energy with my hand. So I'd start at the top and just move through their body. And I could sense breaks in the energy field, broken bones, operations, scars, all sorts of things. So yeah, very, very, very unique.
Wow. Yeah, that is that's quite a gift, isn't it? And I don't know whether on some levels it's a gift, but it's quite a, I don't know if burden's the right word, but it's quite something to take on board, isn't it?
Yeah, my great uncle had the gift as well, and he found that people didn't like him. They wouldn't want to be around him because of what he could see. So, not too many people wanted to have that kind of intuitive session with me. So I kind of lost touch with it for a while.
Right.
But now what I'm doing is I'm telepathing somehow the consciousness of the body. So a gallbladder might talk to me, or someone's liver. I can sense what's in it, emotionally, trauma-wise, all sorts of things come through. So that's really fascinating. Yeah.
Right.
So I work with medical intuitive cards. That's
right.
just one of them.
Yeah, I haven't heard of those.
Oh, look what I've held up.
I love it.
Isn't that funny? These are really fun to work with, There's a metaphysical energy for every body part. So sometimes I use them in readings, but sometimes I just tune in myself, or the body part might just want to have a conversation with me. So it steps forward, which is really interesting.
I don't know whether any of the viewers can see, but I can see the orbs flying across the room and back again. So
crazy.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
I love it.
The force is with you, eh?
Yeah.
Right. So going back to pathogens, because we all know about viruses, we know about toxins, and all of these sort of things. But I have to confess, I've heard about pathogens, but it's not something that I've followed through or really looked into. And then a friend I spoke to who was really, really sick, and she'd been sick for a long time, mentioned that she'd had a session with you and you'd cleared out viruses or pathogens, and she felt so much better. But I could hear the difference in her, because she was bordering on coming or going, and anyway, she's here now. So that was what made me get in touch with you, to find out a little bit more.
Yeah, I want to thank her also. I don't know if she's watching, but thank you so much for sending that message to Andrena. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. So thank you very much.
Well, some way or another. So tell us more about the pathogens then. So you tune into that person or their body or a picture, and then you actually see it, and then do you actually sort of energetically pull it out of the body?
So what we do is I send a questionnaire form. So if you've got stomach issues, headaches and backache, you would put all your symptoms on a form for me to look through. So every symptom you have can relate to a pathogen infection, whether it's a virus, bacteria, fungus, heavy metals, or a toxin. So then I go to my lists of pathogens and I energetically test. I have a radionics wand. It's really long and it's very, very sensitive, and it tells me either yes or no to the pathogens that I'm testing you for. So if I get a yes, I make a list of them, and then I prioritize that list by asking the energy to show me what your top 5 pathogens are, or your top priority 10 pathogens, whichever one you're having.
So with can people have, what's the main amount people could have of pathogens in the body? Is it unlimited?
There's just so many.
Okay.
And some of them are layered, so I can't actually energetically see them. They're underneath.
Right.
So we've got to pull the top layers off first.
Right.
But it's the top layers that are really strong and making you sick, so we can get them pretty much straight away.
Because I know, mercury is, so many people have got mercury in their teeth, and I know I had all my mercury removed, oh gosh, donkey's years ago now, but I know that you still get it in the brain, you get it in different organs of the body and all sorts of things. And I know it can affect the brain really badly, can't it, on some levels?
Yeah, there's so many things mercury can do. I have just lists of stuff. So it can cause nausea, tissue swelling. So if you have swollen ankles, that can be a sign of heavy metals. You can have headaches, lethargy, even lung irritation, digestive irritation, and mentally confused and cognitive stuff. Yeah, brain fog.
Yeah, so by clearing the pathogens, like obviously layer by layer, you're freeing yourself up. Because I know, like, on my pathway of helping myself to be the best version of me, I've done sort of detoxes and colonics and enemas and all sorts of things. But I know we were talking and you mentioned that you really need to get rid of the pathogen, because I know you also mentioned about taking juicing and all of that, and I think you shared that doesn't always work if you haven't pulled the pathogen out. All these other things are not making a difference.
Yeah, I have clients who follow medical medium. I know most of us have heard of medical medium. Yeah. He actually talks a lot about the pathogens and how they affect our body. It's a really fabulous book to follow if you want to find out more about these pathogens that make us sick. So he has everybody on diets and celery juice and different herbs and supplements to help with the pathogenic infection. But the people that come to me, some of them are saying they've done all his regime, his protocol, I'll say. And unfortunately, they still have the staphylococcus, they still have the viruses. So it's not really getting rid of them to the level that they want.
Yeah, so this is where you come in and you really go in and there's a word, I can't think of it at the minute, but anyway, like you really go in and clean everything out of the body.
Yeah, so on that call with our consult, I will tell you what I found, and we go through the symptoms, and then I start clearing them. So energetically, when we're on the call together, I'll clear them. And pretty much within 24 hours, you'll be feeling some sort of detoxing going on, because pathogen energy is very strong and it can make you feel really unwell that next day because of the detoxing.
Yeah, does it go on for a bit? Sorry, does it go on for longer than a day? Like, does it depend on each person?
It actually depends on how quickly your body can get rid of something. So we're through the skin, we detox through then the urinary and the lymph and sweating and bowels, and everything gets rid of it in different ways. So if you're a bit sluggish, you might take 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, because I can share that I had a session with you, and I was quite amazed at what the different things related to, because I'm always doing a clearing and cleansing and all sorts of things. So, and I know one of the things was I've had a funny issue where it's like all my bones are cracking, and I forgot I haven't got my notes in front of me at the moment, but I know that when I looked it up on the internet, it said that was an age thing, that some form of gas in the body is releasing. Well, I don't know. I'm just cracking all the time, so I don't quite know what was going on until you mentioned the name of the issue, which you'd have to enlighten me.
Yeah, I don't have your notes here, but
all right, not to worry.
Some bacteria that hang in the joints. Mycoplasma arthritis was one. So mycoplasma doesn't have a cell wall, so it doesn't get taken out if you have antibiotics. It it's still there, and it's so teeny tiny. It's smaller than normal bacteria. So this all collects in the synovial fluid and around the joints to create problems.
Yeah. So I find it fascinating. So
the other thing, Andrena, is the ligaments. Sometimes spirit will show me exactly what to clear for somebody, and I'll go into the ligaments of the body. So I'll have to get an anatomy chart and just dowse which one is out of balance. And I did some of that for you the other night. And we cleared some congestion. So the energy congestion, it just builds up. And personally, I had some really bad stiffness in my hips, and I couldn't walk one morning, and I was just clearing the ligaments of congestion, and it really made a difference with the pain. It just completely shifted out. So that's how I was trying to help you as well.
And I will share that I've had a hip problem for quite a few months now, and I've been in agony, absolute agony. Couldn't move, couldn't turn. Just so much pain. And trying to do exercises, I keeping myself walking. So that was it certainly helped a lot, made a difference. So, and I've looked at all the emotional issues, and if it's on the male side and female side, and about going forward and all of these things. But I knew it was much, much deeper than that. So,
and we did touch on those things, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah. Now, I want to mention the right side is also about giving. The left side is about receiving. So if we are too much with giving, you're depleting yourself as well. So that's another dynamic.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was amazing. So thank you for that. So what about animals? Because I believe you do animals as well.
Yes, I love pets. I love them dearly. And so they're part of our family, right? And they also can have viruses, bacteria, infections. They can have toxins from their vaccines. The sick pets get sick from the toxins of the vaccines, and I clear those as well. Vaccine toxins.
So again, you only need a photo or the name of the dog, and you just link in.
Yes, just the name and his date of birth and some details about his condition and what he's suffering. And then I'll check my lists. Yeah, because there's a lot of parasites with animals. They have parasites.
Yeah, definitely. Right. Sorry.
All the animals are male, are they?
Sorry, I meant to say male or female.
Redian is a fantastic singer. He's living across the border in New South Wales. He's asked if ivermectin works for all the above problems. I'll just put it up. You see that there? It's on the screen.
Oh, right, yeah. Would ivermectin work for all of the above problems? I don't know. I'm not familiar with the drug, as in working with it or taking it. I can't comment, really. But I've heard it's very powerful for clearing certain viruses.
Hey, I was interested to hear you guys talk about inflammation. And I came across a product that really did quite well, and it was called soda crystals. I actually got it here in Australia at the Chemist Warehouse, and just had to place it in the stocking and then place it around the inflammation, which is on my knee, and then wrap it up in a tea towel. Did that for 4 nights and just sucked out the inflammation. It was a fantastic bloody product, eh?
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. I've written that down. Soda crystals. Yeah, there's other things like monosodium urate, which is those crystals that build up that give gout. So they're the kind of things I can detox as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the beauty of what you do is people don't have to travel to see you. Do you see many people in person?
No.
So obviously for a lot of people that can't get to you, this is brilliant. And obviously you work alongside people taking different drugs or concoctions for different things. But obviously when you get to the root cause of that, you're not going to need to be taking those things, are you?
Yeah, well, sometimes, they don't need to take the supplements or herbs that were, wanting to clear the virus or whatever. I've just cleared it. You don't need all that. Yeah.
So
I do have clients all over the world, so it's just wonderful to be able to heal at that level. Yeah.
Yeah. So people could, Jeff's put up about your email and you're on Facebook, and you've got another Facebook page, haven't you, as well? So obviously people can connect with you or, and follow that through, because you can, it's going to make a difference to people on so many levels by doing it naturally. Because I choose to do everything as natural as I can. The doctors and everywhere have got their place and everything, but I'd rather do anything without taking and work through the pain rather than taking something to numb it down. So, but
I actually have a client who is very, very sensitive to drugs. She can't take any drugs. It just makes her very sick and all sorts of problems. So having an energy healing is amazing for her. She just is so grateful that it's available, that she found me. Because
you're doing a fantastic job. So I believe you're the only pathogen healer or intuitive healer at the moment. Is that correct?
I'm the only pathogen whisperer that has been fully trained in Australia.
Right. So are you planning to train or help people to do what you do in any way?
I want to desperately, because it is so needed. People need to take charge and be able to heal themselves instead of going to, doctors or other people. It's just so simple and powerful. I really want to do that, yes. And people have been asking me, can you teach me this? And it's not something that's in my energy at the moment, because it's a lot of work to get that together. And but it's something I definitely want to do, because so many people need it right now. Look at the state of the world. It's crazy.
So going back to the C virus, which so many people have had or they've taken, had the jabs, I believe that you said you could help remove some of those toxins out of people's bodies.
Yes, we can detox through the method that I use for pathogens. It's the same method for clearing or neutralizing the toxicity of poisons and toxins. So with the vaccine, I just look at the ingredients. So there's a polysorbate 80 in there, which is particularly nasty and causes a lot of allergic reactions in some people. That really gives me a bad headache when I clear it, and I feel quite sick. So I actually feel quite a lot when I'm working with people. I can see and feel where it is in their body that it's coming from, where it's trapped. Yes. So
because I know a lot of people have mentioned that they've had to take it for their job, or they've they get the sack, or they're not allowed there, and so this could help a lot of people that have had to go that way, because it's just how it is. They've got to go through that protocol. But so you can help them, because obviously a lot of people are worried about the side effects and what's in there.
So toxicity is what we look at. So if they're frightened about it, worried about it, definitely talk to me.
That's brilliant. Yeah, you should have a job lot with all, anyway.
I know, I do have some people already reaching out with the vaccine. They're very worried about what the toxins are. So there is help, definitely.
And young babies and young children that have got, anything wrong with them is the same. You just tune into the baby.
I've done babies, yes. Yeah. They can only have at least one pathogen cleared at a time because it's too much for them energetically.
Yeah.
And pets, you can only do one at a time, and then every 2 days do another one.
Amazing.
Yeah, and if you're a really sensitive person, I can't clear the whole 5 at once. It's too much. So I probably do 2 or 3 and then wait a couple of days and do the rest. Yeah. So you've got to drink a lot of water when you've had a clearing with the toxicity and the virus release.
Yeah.
It helps to flush out all the nasties.
So because you're doing, this amazing work, which is really making a difference, and there's only you.
I get overwhelmed, yes.
Yeah, I can imagine. Gosh. So in long term, where do you want to go with all of this? Would this be the training to get everybody doing the same sort of work?
Long term, I want to heal more people at once. I've been shown to do remote healings once a month for Epstein-Barr. So where you just sit at home at, say, 8 o'clock and I start the clearing and I do another body organ with it. So I have that in place already.
Because I know Epstein-Barr is linked to so many illnesses and viruses, and it's massive.
It's crazy how much is linked to Epstein-Barr.
And another one, sorry.
Thank you for putting that picture up, because it shows you the different parts and how, how many parts of the body are affected.
Because another one is Lyme disease. I don't know a lot about it, but I know that's another nasty one. And is that mainly to do with virus symptoms similar?
Lyme disease, we see it as a lot of, it can be virus that the ticks carry. So the ticks carry these things. But it's mainly a lot of nasty bacteria, the Lyme, the borreliosis, Bergdorferi. There's lots of different bacteria, and they do get in the neurological system and the brain. So it can be really debilitating. Yeah. And sometimes they have, cytomegalo and they have Epstein-Barr. So they can have a whole plethora of different things in there at once. And that's the beauty of where I come in. I can just see what's there. Yeah.
So what does it look like to you when you see it? Can we have like an inner vision?
No, I don't see it. I don't see it. I just tune into its energy.
Right.
And sometimes it makes me sick because it's so nasty. It's not something you want to connect with, put it that way.
Yeah. So does it take you a while to get over a session when it's been quite nasty, or? Oh
no, once I start feeling it in the body and it shifts out, then that symptom goes out of me and it's gone.
Yeah. Interesting, eh?
It's quite amazing how that happens, and I can't seem to make it stop. So it's just part of being an empath that you just feel stuff from people. But yeah, it does shift out. So that's a good thing, right?
Definitely. We need to get rid of all the, all the stuff that we've carried. What about anything from sort of ancestral that we've brought through energetically from parents?
Or it comes from the DNA for sure. Sometimes I find dengue fever or malaria, and when I test the strength of it, it goes right back to a D1, which indicates past life. So it's like, wow, our ancestors had these viruses and heavy metals. And the amazing thing is sometimes I'll be clearing a virus or a bacteria or whatever it is, and I will have a vision of the person's father or mother or grandmother. They will just stand there and they'll say, I had that pathogen or I had that sickness.
And you had that with my dad, didn't you, when you worked with one of the issues? My dad came in to say that he'd had one of those issues.
I think it was mercury.
Yeah,
he was definitely affected by that.
Yeah, and I know my sister Carol, she had a couple of suspected heart attacks due to mercury poisoning.
Wow. So
yeah.
she has to get some clearing.
Yeah. Well, we'll sort that out. It's in the queue. You haven't seen our queue. But yeah, definitely. So, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
What else? Go on, Jeff. You ask now.
Just take it to a different, right out of left field concept. Yeah. Not what we were talking about, but it's still going to be about it. Hey, Rank Xerox came up with a product, and a guy called Steve Jobs saw it, and he said, "Right, I know what to do with it." Rank Xerox didn't know what they wanted to do with it, so they became the Apple Mac computer. So the Apple Mac, their system is based on the fact that here's the Apple, but it doesn't have any viruses in it. And along came Mr. Bill Gates, who then replicated it and created Windows operating systems. And then he gets virus attacks. So then he has to write antivirus software for anybody who's on the IBM compatible computers. And he's blaming the hackers for doing it. But the hackers moved into another world and they set up Linux servers. And guess what? None of those hackers who set up the Linux, which is open platform source, never gets any viruses. It's only Apple. It's only Bill Gates's Windows. And so there's a great line of income stream there when your product needs to be upgraded all the time with antivirus software. So I'm just seeing the scenario there between the human computer, which is our body, and how it's manifested in the physical with the advent of computers. So you're probably more so classified as an antivirus specialist.
I want to be, I really have affinity with just focusing on viruses. I want to be a virologist. I know this sounds stupid, but I know I really love doing the viruses because they're really powerful. When you can clear them, people just instantly can get relief. Let me tell you about the story of myself. I had back pain for maybe 10 years where I used to get sciatica on one side, the left side, and it would come and go, and I could never seem to heal it. And it would stop me from doing a lot of physical activity, like exercising that. I just couldn't do any of that. So eventually, when I started to learn this modality, I found that I did find the virus that was trapped in there, and it was the varicella zoster, which is from the chicken pox. And I had the chicken pox at age 33. So, and it just stays in the nerve sheath. So it hangs in the nerves and it irritates and inflames. And then your immune goes down and then it comes out, with a vengeance. So I had this going on and off for 10 years. It was driving me crazy. So when I actually cleared the virus, all the pain went away. It was like a miracle healing to me. And that's when I realized how powerful that this is. And that didn't come back for about 11 months. 11 months of being pain-free. And then when it came back, I just re-cleared it. There was no problem. It went away. So that's just amazing. That's my story. But since then, I've cleared lots of things, pain-wise, with clearing a pathogen.
Okay, so I'll put this autoimmune slide that you sent through. Yeah.
Thank you. What I want to show you with this is the myelin sheath. I just want everyone to see what the myelin sheath is. So it's the covering around the nerve. And this is the sheath or the covering that starts to degenerate in conditions of ALS, multiple sclerosis type, Parkinson's disease, and all those nervous system problems. So my guides have shown me that we need to really clear this part of our nervous system by detoxing the heavy metals. So I did a meditation, channeled meditation, and mercury and copper clearing and I made an MP3 so that people can listen to it and have the clearing. So it's really important to keep the myelin sheath healthy and free from toxins and poisons. I was also shown the corpus callosum, the middle part of the brain, how that can be affected by heavy metals. And even the word Ritalin came in, and I know that's a drug. I think that children have that. So, wow, that's something to maybe just to be aware of for me, with children coming through and they take that drug, some of them, they have to. So it's very toxic. The other thing that came through that I want to mention was herbicides and the pesticides can settle in the nerve sheaths and cause a lot of toxic problems and then debilitating illnesses. So DDT, we all know, we've all heard of the DDT. And I think that's something I need to check people for that have any nervous system problems or disorders. Yeah. So tonight I was shown if we have time to do a little bit of a clearing for our brain for stress. I was shown very clearly that we're all very stressed and we're holding it in the brain. So this is causing, cognitive issues, confusion, all sorts of things.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. I was going to ask you about that because you did mention about doing a little clearing for the brain, and I think, I won't speak for all, but I think most of us could do with some little help along the way in different ways. But can I just ask you that, I know so many children with AH or AHD and all of those, and it's like they've been rewired the wrong way or something. Have you worked with anybody like that?
A couple, and I found a lot of toxins, and the mums have said to me that they all had their vaccines.
Yeah.
And after they had their vaccines, they just weren't the same. They just were listless. They weren't talking a lot, stuff like that. Symptoms like that.
Brilliant. Yeah.
So the most powerful thing we can do is to detox our bodies, because I've shown this is the cause of a lot of problems along with pathogens, but the toxicity is what causes the inflammation. Yeah.
So what would you suggest for people starting off to do detoxing? If you've got any advice there for people that haven't done any, because I know I've met so many people that are overweight, carrying weight, can't get rid of it. And, obviously their bodies are very toxic and they need to start somewhere. What would be a good way?
I don't really offer any kind of medical advice or anything like that. But I want to mention with detoxing, you can get very sick. Because when you start detoxing, you're actually detoxing all the bugs that are in there. So other stuff can come to the surface. So just be careful about how much detoxing you do.
Yeah.
So all the juicing, there's a lot of great products out there that can help. But just be gentle first. So don't go really hardcore with this. Just gentle detoxing over weeks will really be beneficial.
Yeah, otherwise you have a healing crisis.
In the Muslim world, they have Ramadan, and that's very much a detoxing.
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah.
The whole spiritual religious program of the Muslim religion.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on.
Right. So, would you like to do a little clearing for everybody that's listening, and will people when they listen to the show after, will they get that happening as well?
Yes, absolutely. We'll hold intention for that. So anyone on the replay, whenever that is, however far in the future that is, they'll definitely get this healing.
Yeah.
So if you want the healing, you just say, yes, I would like this. If you don't want the clearing, just say, no, I don't want this. Just in your mind, you don't want this.
Right.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Is there any questions?
No, you've answered so much, and yeah, just
I saw
amazing.
some people flashing up with stuff, but I couldn't read it quick
No.
enough.
No, we're all good.
Okay. All right. I'll start with the clearing then. So everybody just focus on your brain. So there's 4 quadrants appearing to me. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4 at the back. So close your eyes, relax, breathing gently, calmly, with your focus on your brain. We're going to hold intention to clear stress within each quadrant of your brain. To wherever you are holding stress, whether it's in the amygdala, corpus callosum, frontal lobe, the cortex, wherever it is, this clearing is going to help you release built up stress and emotional overwhelm. So I'll just go quiet as I do the process for everybody here and for the replay.
You're listening to Radio FM 88, broadcasting free to air, Springwood, Australia, through the website, radiofm88.com.au, where you can download the app. Currently 20 to 8 Queensland time. Our guest is Vanessa Eagleton from Queensland. Co-host Andrena Forrest from the UK.
So some of you might be feeling a little bit of energy as this is shifting out. I can certainly feel it in the left side of my brain and then shifting to the right. The energy's still running, so we'll just go with it.
You're listening to Radio FM 88 Australia. It's our Thursday night show with guests from around the world, dreaming the new dream. If you're on the internet, you can jump on Radio FM 88 Facebook page, or you can go to Facebook, Dream the New Dream. You can see all the previous shows that we've had for the last 2 years.
Okay, that is now complete. The process is finished. So did anybody feel that energy shifting?
I did. Good.
Oh, good. You did?
Yeah. Soon as you started, the energy was already working, and yeah, I could feel all sorts going on. And when you said going from the left to the right, I could feel left and all at the back. Yeah. So yeah, I could feel all sorts. So that's another job lot gone. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm still feeling that, and I'm feeling part of my face is going numb. So I know that there's some people out there with some really deep stress. Yeah. So we've got to integrate this, guys. and now I'm actually feeling a headache. So there's a lot of energy shifting right now for everybody, whether you can feel that or not. I can.
I can still feel it. Oh,
Melissa did. Thank you, Melissa.
Yeah, and Healy did. So yeah. So yeah, I can still feel something going. What about you, Jeff? Can you feel anything in yours?
Someone has to be captain of the ship. So I mean, you have to realise that we're actually broadcasting live on radio, so they don't actually have the video stream that's going out. So
right. So all those radio people, hello.
Hopefully
they're feeling it as well.
You can't have dead air time. So while you're doing your stuff, I just had to move out of our simulcast with the streaming system and go back to normal radio. So it's okay. It's all good.
Yeah, that feels really powerful. I can really feel. Yeah.
Still shifting. So just be aware, everybody, to drink some water, and you might feel a little dizzy, or until this shifts through.
So how would you like people to contact you? Would you prefer by email, to ring you?
They can email me at pathogenwhisperer@gmail.com, or go straight to my page, Pathogen Healing Services, and connect with me through there.
And that's on Facebook?
Yes. Maria felt something. Yvonne.
On Yvonne, yeah. Good old Yvonne. Hi, Yvonne.
She's here. Robert Grimes. Robert. Hi, Robert. I remember Robert. Awesome. He's coughing. Oh, we're shifting something else.
Yeah. Get it off your chest.
Yeah. Maria's feeling it on the right side of her brain. Wow. John is saying the amygdala.
No.
Yeah. Now, the amygdala is really interesting because that's where we hold the fight and flight energy, and we can have a lot of anger there. Stored, really, those raw human emotions of anger is the amygdala. So you can shift a lot of energy when we start clearing the amygdala. John's mentioned the consciousness of the pathogens or something.
Yeah.
Oh, look, I'm still spinning.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't talk about this really, but some of the pathogens have communicated with me, if I can say that. I know it's really out there and weird, but everything has a consciousness, right? Your body has a consciousness. The organs have a consciousness. They have a resonance, a vibration, a frequency.
I was going to ask you that. Do any of them talk to you in any way and say why they're there, or that they don't want to go, they don't want to leave, or because there's so many layers of our bodies and emotions and everything that sometimes when you've got a negative, some people that've got negative energy in them, that energy doesn't want to go, and it's a challenge to remove it, but you do move it on. So I'm just wondering, does that happen with any of the pathogens?
Well, there's so many. Yes. I want to mention that when I clear the pathogen, sometimes I feel the emotion that is attached to the pathogen, like a deep emotion in someone, like it's obviously there a long time for that person. So vibrationally, we are attracting things, like attracts like. So magnetically, we draw in these vibrations of pathogens, and they kind of hang out in the body, especially if you're, say, for instance, you're really, really angry or you're resentful. Because I've had the varicella zoster virus actually communicate to me that it's on a mass level, it's to do with resentment and anger. And there was only one time where it wouldn't release, and it was until I fully understood its message. So it was saying for those things, resentment and anger is what drives it. So we have to start forgiving people and forgive ourselves and forgive other people who have made us angry.
And that's so important. Yeah, because people hold on to the anger and resentment, but they don't realize how much it's affecting their body. Yeah, and I know talking to different people, it's very hard to forgive people. You know, there's people that have done different things to you or at you, and you think, I'm not going to ever forgive him, and it brings up your anger. But, you know, it's so important to let that go and do forgiveness.
It's really hard. I hear you. It's very hard. And you don't do it overnight. It's a process.
Yeah.
So wait, squatters, you got a squatter. No.
Yeah, you could have a lot.
No, seriously. I manifested something really nasty last week through, I couldn't clear it pathogenically. It was just this red, angry rash type thing. And I thought bacteria, fungus, no, it just wasn't shifting it. And then I asked my friend, who's a very powerful healer, to look at it energetically. You know, what is there? What can you see? And they saw pure anger and injustice. Mm-hmm. And I went, whoa, I so related to it because it was going on, all the stuff going on. I just, I can relate to it. And soon as that shifted, within 3 hours, all the pain just drained out of that area. Like, seriously, it was so powerful. So once you release the anger, it was almost like the emotions were holding on and creating, but also holding that disease or thing in place. And it wasn't budging. Nothing I did would relieve it until the emotion was released. So very powerful emotions.
Yeah. And that's what it's been. Being aware of your emotions, you know, what the trigger is, and looking at that trigger, and then you're able to release it and let it go.
So where does it go?
Gets transformed into, well, you're not holding it anymore. So you've released it from your energy with your intention. As soon as you acknowledge something, it's half the battle, isn't it, to start releasing something.
What are you thinking there, Jeff? I can see the brain tick-tocking.
Well, I'm just thinking, we have these phrases like emotional baggage, and we're thinking, well, we've got recycling supermarkets, which is down at the dump. So obviously you take it down the dump and get rid of it. But
it's really hard for people to do that, you know.
Yeah, well, someone else's treasure, isn't it, after you've got rid of it?
I don't think so.
No.
So we're etherically, energetically, after you got it out of your body, I'm just thinking, okay, it's been transformed, so must be go back to the source.
Yeah. That's what I always think, is I always when I do releasing, I always return it back to love. That's what my little intention is.
And I'll just in discussion to wind you up to sort of somewhere along the line, other people will start thinking about it and saying, okay, well, fair play. But I would suggest that it gets transmuted into love.
Yeah, that's a good actually intention to have when you're doing some clearing on yourself, is to change that vibration of virus or whatever, transmute it into love.
Yeah, it's a bit like the prodigal son, isn't it?
Hey? Sorry, Jeff?
A bit like the prodigal son, you know, he leaves the family and then comes back after his journey and then embraces the whole family again, you know, but comes back with all that wealth of knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah, so he's transformed. Yeah, so some people don't know what they're carrying. So when you have a medical intuitive session, this can sort of show you where you're holding onto emotions, where your blocks are, even where you're losing energy. That's another thing I see, is where people losing energy through the solar plexus. They're not taking care of their own energy field. They're not disconnecting from people, and they're finding themselves getting really drained.
That's another thing you mentioned, you know, about tie cutting. And I mean, you know, there's not everybody's aware that you need to cut cords from people energetically because they can feed off you and drain you. You can be around people that just suck the life force out of you. You just go away and think, God, I feel terrible, not realizing energetically that somebody's pulling off your energy field and to protect your energy field.
That's right. And I think a lot of us have felt drained after we've been with certain people, or even after we've come back from shopping or the supermarket, we're drained.
So it's important to put yourself in a bubble of light or some sort of a cloak around you when you're going out and about, isn't it? Giving yourself extra protection.
You can, yes. I find the most powerful thing is to cut the cords with my intention and my hands just going through the chakras, but also using sage. That really does shift some energy.
Yeah, I use that a lot. What about grounding? Because that's another thing people need to do is being on the earth and actually connected to the earth, isn't it? Because so many people are ungrounded and sort of away with the fairies, so to speak.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Yeah.
Oh, we've all been there. Well, most.
No, yeah, it's important to ground and be very connected to earth, as you know, to very powerful healing energies from Mother Earth and being grounded. You can't think if you're up with the fairies all the time. You're spaced out. How can you think and manifest if you're not in this reality? It's very important. Yeah.
So let's talk about grief. Okay, so you've had your partner for X amount of years, and your partner passes away. Now that can be over a long illness, or it can be an accident, and unspoken words being said at the time. One of the most important things that I say on phone calls with complete strangers or just other people, I just say, if no one else told you today, I love you. So that concept of someone passing over and the other person here on the earth plane going through grief and recriminations and all the things that never got said or should have been said, you find that there's still a link between the two partners in the sense that one's on the other side and one's on this earth plane, and the one who's on the other side is reaching out and is impacting on the one here on the earth plane. It sort of goes through all the guilt and the grief and emotionally. I think it's more of an emotion that just targets them. So do you find that in your work that you're actually helping in that sense of energetically creating a bridge that allows both partners to move on?
It's up to really the person that's left behind. They're the ones that are carrying all the burdens, the sadness, the loss, the grief. That's what keeps them in a state of disconnect from their own life. They become depressed. They go off track. All sorts of things happen when we can't get through grief. I think it disconnects you from your own spirit and intuition. It happened to me when my brother passed away suddenly. I found I could not connect to any of the star being or the angelic energy, just completely wasn't there. And I understood it to be my pain was what I was disconnecting. It was through my own pain I was disconnecting from reaching the higher intuition, the higher self. So those emotions are very powerful to suppress us. So in a pathogen healing, some of that might shift out. Yeah.
So in other words, in your case there, for example, you found a disconnect yourself to the source of all life or all existence. And then did you find then that your grief or guilt, whatever you want to, all those terms, I mean, you can look at the negative connotation, did that then transmute itself and come into an organ in your body? Did it come into your kidneys or the liver or pancreas?
For me, it was my heart.
Okay, so it's heartfelt.
When your heart is blocked, you're not feeling, sensing, or seeing much at all. And you're not feeling your own soul light, your soul's beautiful light that guides us, right?
Right.
So, and lungs affect grief. Grief affects lungs in the Chinese medicine. We've got to be careful of our lungs. And if you're a Gemini, hello, we have to be careful of our lungs and our nervous system. So, yeah, grief in the lungs. But for me, because it was someone very close to me, it was heart that was really paining.
All right.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't pain on the outside, wasn't
it? Yeah. No.
Pain on the neck. We have these terminologies, don't we? We didn't see it coming. Got up my nose. Fed up to the back teeth. Can't stomach that. Really pissed off. Obviously, urine. Vent my spleen. There's all these little words that subconsciously we voice, but we don't actually recognize what we've just said. But the body's actually brought it out, and someone like yourself is intuitively, oh, hello, I've just said something there that tells me straight away they know where the issue is, and it's in that particular organ of the body. Yeah.
Yeah, but you mustn't keep saying that, because you're creating stuff. You're manifesting whatever your intention is, and your words are really powerful. So if you keep saying he's a pain in the neck, you might actually manifest that. So I want to show everybody this book. When I was 33 years old, I had a dream about this book.
Okay.
It came to me in a dream. It's very in your face. That's so obvious. It was a love heart. Within a week, I'd found this when I visited a new friend's home. She had it on the table, and I grabbed it and I said, oh my God, what's this? I dreamt this book. And she said, that's all about mind-body stuff where, we manifest emotions in the body. And so within, I was off the next day buying the book myself. And it was like, I knew this book was truth. I just knew. And from then on, I was always wanting to learn about mind-body healing modalities. So I've done a lot of healing modalities in the last 17 years. So this is a great book to start off with.
You can heal what? What's the book called?
Healing modalities.
You can heal your...
No, I was learning a lot of... the book, You Can Heal Your Life.
Is that Louise Hay?
Yes.
Right. Because I tell you, one that I've always used as a Bible in my work is The Secret Language of Your Body in a Seagull. And it's even got to your your thumb on your left hand, or a fingernail. When you look it up and what it means, you think, oh my God. It's uncanny. So,
it's amazing.
If you don't know, if you've got a broken pain in the knee or in the neck, or if you look up in these books to see what they relate to, how you've created that, and that's the key. You don't realize it's the power of your words and your thoughts that have created these issues in your body.
It's kind of a generalized one. And so when I look at people's liver, it's not always about anger. So this is very generalized, but it's a great tool to have. Yeah. I'm just looking up gout. The gout is a need to dominate. It can mean impatience or anger. So it's about feeling safe and secure. I'm at peace with myself and others. But I know gout is from drinking or eating a lot of high acid foods. Yeah, so that's for the lady with gout. I saw somebody with gout there.
Yeah, Helen.
Oh yeah, she's got gout problems in the right foot. It could be heavy metals as well. Sometimes when we clear heavy metals, people will have feet pain release.
Because it gets everywhere, doesn't it?
It does. Sometimes when I clear Epstein-Barr, someone can have their feet pain release or their neck pain release, because that virus is all over the place. It just does so many different things. It's horrible. I also want to talk about teeth and dental health, because there's quite a few people that I've helped with gum disease, the gum inflammation, to the point where their teeth are loose. It's painful to chew. So after I clear the porphyromonas endontalis and other parasite type and bacterial energies, all those symptoms go away. It's remarkable how powerful the healing is when you clear those pathogens. So I just want to put that out there.
Right. Yeah, I could just ask, like when people fill out the form and they put all their aches and pains and everything, so is that when you tune in and douse to see what's the most appropriate ones that need clearing first, and then gradually work through, layers after layers? Or
that will tell me the top 3 things that are priority for them, and I'll focus on those 3 issues.
And I believe you put an offer for people as well, haven't you? You've done a special offer for anybody that's listening or to the replay.
I have, actually. If anyone was really interested and has some issues they'd like me to look at or have a session with me, I have made a little discount for that, for Brilliant. The 10 package, because most people have more than 5. So there's, lots of stuff. And the older we get, the more layered they become, and the more chronic our conditions can become.
Yeah, brilliant. Right. Is there anything else that you would like to share, excuse me, before we finish?
Have we answered all the questions? Because I can't remember what all of them were.
I know they flash up so fast, so...
Oh, that's my form, yeah. If you're interested in having the remote Epstein-Barr clearing, just to fill out the link, and I'll put you on my list for upcoming clearings and any workshops of pathogenic nature.
Have you thought of doing like Zoom calls with people to do pathogenic healing clearings?
Yes.
Because that would
do
be
you mean
good.
Group ones?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a great way to get it out there for people. So yeah, keep us posted.
We could do the mass Epstein-Barr clearing on Zoom.
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
Because 95% of people in America have Epstein-Barr.
Gosh.
And for me, 90% of my clients have Epstein-Barr. So it's really common.
Yeah.
And you can pick it up so easily.
I mean, medical medium, I got hooked on that book, the first chapter.
Oh, you've read it? Okay, yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I'm me.
I've bloody bought the book 3 times and given it away. Hey,
I got one of them.
He's got the thyroid one as well, and the liver.
Yeah. But I like the fact that those 3 individuals who come up with Epstein-Barr virus, I mean, they did all the research on that stuff. And then it was in the 60s, and then all the research funding was stopped. But, later on in his book, he says that research will go back into the Epstein-Barr virus to come up with a solution that will pave the way for humongous big inroads in health and on the planet. I was quite taken by that.
Yeah, well, I think doctors need to be educated a bit more about it and how insidious it is. And some of his protocols, they help lots of people by doing those things.
Mm-hmm.
But I can just, if I can see it, I can just clear it. Instant, pain relief. Sometimes it's quite amazing. So it's just that nobody really knows too much about me. I don't really advertise a lot. It's mainly word of mouth. Yeah, a lot of my clients are referring me to other people, so that's really wonderful. Thank you very much for those people.
And that is the nicest way, isn't it? It's word of mouth.
Yeah.
But I just going back to different issues that you have going on in your body, what I always say is give your arm or something a sound, give it a voice, tone it out as well.
Well, we need to look at the emotions that are trapped in there too. So if you can go to an emotional practitioner or do some work with me, whatever, whoever, doesn't matter. We have to get rid of these hardcore emotions because it's locking in the condition. I was proof. I proved it. I had relief after that. And then after about 3 days, the whole rash disappeared. It was like magic. Incredible.
Fabulous.
Yeah, so I'm living proof of all these things. I can see, and I've even had a pathogen in time come through from a past life. So that was really strange.
Wow.
I saw the whole Japanese Hiroshima kind of scene. And the lady had radiation in her face that I was told to clear that. It's just amazing. Yeah. So my whole intuition is expanded so much since I've done this course and working with people. I mean, I can just see I can see all sorts of things that you wouldn't even imagine that could be there.
I bet.
And after pathogen healing, you can feel so much lighter because these heavy energies around our body, our head, our brain, everything, it just gets shifted and you feel so different. Now, I want to mention the fatigue bugs that cause a lot of fatigue in the body. If you have fatigue and you don't know where that's coming from, it can be Epstein-Barr, glandular fever, so Pfeiffer's glandular fever, cytomegalovirus, Q fever, hepatitis is another one that causes fatigue, and a lot of different blood viruses like Ross River fever.
It's unlimited, isn't it?
It's unlimited, and I could go on, I suppose, with all the Lyme bacteria in there as well. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to say thank you so much for coming on. It's been really enlightening, and I'm sure all our viewers and listeners will get a lot from it, and I'm sure you will get a lot of people contacting you to follow through to help them on their pathway to clear their pathogens.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful to be here and very special. I'm very grateful.
That's good.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Andrena.
Right.
I just finished that one off. Just stay in the chamber. We'll just finish off.